Hello, boys and girls, moms, dads, all you folks in YouTube land. This is James Manser coming to you from Victor One. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a kid's stool. These stools are very special because they're personalized. On the seat of every stool, there's going to be an initial for your child, and those initials are going to be made with marbles. And before I actually show you how to do that, I want to give you two motivations so that in a day and age like this, there are many things going on in people's lives. I'm sure you've already got some motivation. I want to give you enough motivation to carry you all the way through to accomplish what you want to do. So the first motivation, actually, I was surprised. It comes out of the Bible. And this is from the very last two verses of the Old Testament. There's a prophecy, and that would be Malachi chapter 4, verses 5 and 6. And it fits very well with what we're doing today. It says here, "See, I will send you the prophet Elijah before the great and dreadful day of the Lord comes. He will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children and the hearts of the children to their fathers, or else I will come and strike the land with a curse." And you know what? Back then, they were having a very bad time with just simple family relationships. That should never be, but it was. And God did not like that. He said, I'm going to send Elijah. That's going to get fixed. And it happened just that way. But it doesn't stay fixed today. It's the very same way in many respects, especially since Satan will never stop striving to take our children from us. So, that's your first motivation. The second motivation I want to give you today, I hope I can put this right here where you can see. I have two little boys here. You can't really see her, but hiding behind that second boy, there's a little girl. And these kids were adopted by friends of ours, and they were fired up to come over. I was getting these stools set up for them to put the marbles in, and they were having a great time. If you'll notice on the feet, this first one is for the little girl, and the cutout on the foot, it's an arch. And then on the second one, the cutout is a triangle. And you can do cutouts, but the way I've set this up, you don't really have to do a cutout if you don't want to. So that's what happened that day. And we did not get to see those kids for another year. When we went over to their house a year later, I walked in the door, and the little girl, she just immediately looked at me and she says, I know who you are. You're the guy that made my thing. And we went upstairs in her room, and she had her stool next to her bed for a nightstand. And the real bottom line there is, that girl was majorly fired up. She was impacted because somebody thought she was special enough to do something special for her, and we had a connection right there. That's what I want to accomplish for every one of you, and that's going to give you more motivation. If things get hectic and you get distracted, remember these things, and you can make it all the way through. So, guys, little diagram here. I hope you can see everything well. Everything that's going to be done is simple enough that if you have never worked with wood, I promise you, you can do this. There are no angle cuts of any description. Every cut is just a simple 90-degree cut. And if you'll notice here, it's only 4 boards. I'm sorry, guys. It's only 4 boards. It's the seat, 2 feet, and a brace. And if you'll notice, the feet are inset just a little bit on each side. I've marked that at 1.25 inches. if you want to move that a little, you certainly can. But the seat, you take that 1x10 board and cut it at 13 inches. And then for the feet, each of them are 12 inches. And then the brace is going to be 10.5 inches. And right here on the brace, you can have a choice. You can make it only 8 inches wide. It just looks a little better that way. It's still plenty wide enough. Or you can use the full 10 inches. And the reason why I'm saying that is that kids can use that for a shelf. If they're not using it for something to sit on all the time, they can put race cars there or a magazine or a baseball, whatever they want. And it makes it to where it's something can use even more. Guys, right there, I think we've covered just about everything we need to look at on that. I would, for me, the way I set up the brace, you might say, well, why don't you center it from top to bottom over 12 inches? I put mine just a little bit above that, but you can set it either which way how you like it. Guys, that gives you a little information on dimensions. Right now, I'm going to show you a finished seat. For the most part, here I've got everything done but marbles. And on the seat, I think it's a really big deal to do these corners like that. I do not like the idea of a child falling and hitting a corner. To do that, I simply took from the corner and came in about 3/4 of an inch and then did a 45 up. I'm sorry, I said 45. I promised you there weren't angle cuts. There's one angle cut, 45 degrees. I just bobbed that off. And then you take a wood rasp. And a wood rasp is just simply a file with a pretty heavy tooth, and it removes this material pretty quick. So you stroke this about 12 times, and it will round it out where it looks like it should look. So you get all 4 of those done, and then I would do the perimeter on the top all the way around to where there's no sharp edges, especially on the ends here. There can be cuts when you cut the board. So that's everything you need to do with the rasp. For the holes, these marbles, a standard size is 5/8 of an inch. So I've got a spade drill bit. This one's bigger, but I've got a spade drill bit that these are done with. And you do a 5/8 of an inch drill bit. And then you do them every 1 inch. And do not drill all the way through. You really don't need to drill more than about 5/8 of an inch. And that way, when you put the marbles in, you need to leave them kind of like this one here, where it sits up above the surface about 1/4 of an inch or so. And it doesn't hurt. I had somebody ask me, doesn't it hurt when they sit on it? And no, it does not. You're set up to put all the marbles in at that point. I think we're done. I think we are done here. So next, I think we are ready to do to connect the feet and the brace. So I have a foot here. This foot's a little different, and it does have a cutout. But when you're ready to do the foot, you come in, like I said, 1.25 inches. And then on top, you're going to use 3 wood screws, one on either end and one in the middle. And these wood screws, the ones I would use, get a good quality heavy screw, Phillips head. These screws are 1 5/8. That's probably all you need. You can go 1 3/4, which is fine. And when you put the screws in, for sure, do a countersink. And you can buy a product that it has the pre-drill and then it has the countersink. And so you do both of those in one process and just go 1/4 inch below the surface. Fill that with putty. When it gets sanded down and finished, you will not even see where those screws are. Now then, if there's people that you don't have a power drill, you're not used to using wood screws, you can get a 2-inch finishing nail, and on the top, I would put 4 finishing nails. On the feet, if it's 8 inches, I would do 3 finishing nails. And guys, you're done. You're done with putting it together. Now, all you have to do is let Mama come pick that thing up and sand everything down where it's nice and smooth. And then it's time to do a finish. Oh, you know, I think we will stop long enough to show you. I did not show you how to do a template for the letters. So for the letter M, if you'll notice, these feet on the outside, they lean in just a little. To accomplish that, you want to have a bottom line, a top line, and a center line. And on the bottom, it's going to be, I'm sorry guys, on the bottom, it's going to be 8 inches wide. And then on the top, 7 inches. And when you set it up like that and connect these lines to the dots, it's going to automatically lean the way that it needs to. And then for this middle part, just simply come down from the top line, put a dot at 5 1/4 inches, and then come and connect those dots with a line. As I said before, every 1 inch, put a dot. Now, there is a bit of a challenge on the points here, here, and here. They may get a little bit too close to each other. So if you see that happening, just split the difference on those. And the same way, although all the letters are 7 inches tall, some of these lines, you say, well, put a dot every 1 inch. What if you get to the last dot and it's a 1/2 inch? You split the difference. So, guys, that's how you make an M. I did not mention, it's kind of a detail. I did not mention on the letter M, right here, it takes 28 marbles to do the letter M. Okay, guys, right now I'm going to show you how to do the letter S. All of the letters are, like I said, are 7 inches. The letter S is 4 inches wide. To make this letter on the bottom, it's bigger. The shape is bigger than one on top. So I took my coffee cup. The top of my coffee cup is bigger. I traced it off. I turned it back the other way. It's smaller, and I traced it off. I put every 1 inch a dot. And to do the letter S, it takes 16 marbles. And the letter D, the letter D, I simply went in the cabinet, got a bowl that's about 7 inches, trace that off. These angles here are 90-degree angles on the top and bottom. And to do the letter D. I'm sorry, guys. I have to do that again. I was upside down. I don't know if it matters. To do the letter M,
D.
It's 20 marbles. Please forgive me, guys. So now we're down to the point to do the finish. I had told, I had said, hey, let Mama do some sanding on that. And then I used to always use paint. I got to the point where I don't like paint no more because I ended up having to put too many coats, it seemed like. I didn't always get the best paint, but even when I got one coat, it never was one coat. And plus, when you apply with a brush, I didn't like that. So I really am persuaded a great thing to try is to get a product. You can get any of your lumber yards. It's a polyurethane and stain all in one product. So you're doing two functions at one time every time you apply that. And possibly the best part about it is that it can be applied with a soft cloth. So you don't have to fight paintbrush marks so much. I would just simply pour a little bit in a paper plate and fold me a rag, a soft rag, into a small square. Just dip that and then go over it maybe one direction. Let that dry good and then come and go over it the other direction. And that should give you a very even coverage. And I think it should be a much better option. Guys, right there, you've got everything done except to let the kids put the marbles in pretty much. And on the marbles, probably one of the most popular marbles you can get is a cat's eye marble. But it's very easy to get solid marbles that are red, blue, green. You can get clear marbles for fish tanks. You can get iridescent marbles. You can go online and you can buy a can of just all kinds of marbles. And that's what I like. If you like cat's eyes, you can do all cat's eyes, whatever you like. But when it's time for the kids to get after this, I would put the glue in for them and see if you can help them, if they can, to put the marbles where they're just about 1/4 of an inch coming off the surface. And that gives you a much better presentation. When you look at it, it looks so much better. Now, having said that, with a child doing that, I would suggest you're probably going to want the child to be at least 16 months old or 2 years. Certainly at 2 years, I think they could handle that. And guys, whenever dad has a part, mom has a part, the kid has a part, they have ownership, and they're going to remember it. And frankly, what I would do if I was going to do this, I would start and do the seat ahead of time because it has more things going on. I would do that ahead of time, maybe a week. Maybe cut the other parts. It's just a very simple 90-degree cut. And then whenever the Saturday rolls around, I would get up early, get the kids up, get mama up, do this whole thing probably within 3 hours and be done by 11 or 11:30. And then I would have a celebration. In San Antonio, that would mean for me, I would probably go get tamales and make chalupas. And you can celebrate whatever you guys like to have for parties and stuff. Guys, I think that we've talked about almost everything except I want you to have an understanding that if you pray about this, this is much more than a stool. It's so much more than a stool. Just the process of doing this, it may be the beginnings of something, but when you do it, you create memories, you build character, and you build a culture for your family. Most of all, remember when I read you of Malachi? You are creating a safe place against Satan, a safe place for your children, for your wife, against Satan. And frankly, I would find some way to put a plaque right there by the front door. When you walk in the front door, it's going to say Malachi chapter 4, 5, and 6, or maybe it could say, turning the hearts of the fathers to the children. Anything simple for you to remember it, and that's going to stay in your heart. It's going to stay in your child's heart. Guys, that's what I have for you today on Victor 1. Thank you so much. I hope y'all have a great week.